How much does it actually cost to live in Chattanooga, Tennessee? Well, today we're going to go over housing prices and monthly expenses, and you'll want to stick around because we're going to reveal how much you need to make to live comfortably in this growing city.
Chattanooga real estate couple. We sell houses.
So, quick note, we're at Amani Yaju, which means peace from above in Swahili, and attached to this amazing, beautiful store is the Livingstone Cafe that provides a delicious coffee. But now let's get into it. Let's talk about housing market.
So a bit of a disclaimer, Chattanooga is comfortable from a cost of living perspective, but that is very relative, right? And it's very subjective to the individual moving here. And so statistically, Chattanooga is 13% lower than the national average. And so we're going to kind of break that down for you guys and explain why.
A lot of people, when they budget for the month, gas is a huge thing. So when Chattanooga is relatively small and easy to get to, whether from work or dropping off kids, people budget for gas. But again, it doesn't take too long to get across town, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 20. So someone that's coming from a bigger city that has to drive further, they spend more on gas.
But is Chattanooga as affordable as they say? Let's dive a little bit deeper to see how comfortable it is to live here.
So let's break down the housing costs in Chattanooga even further. So the average sales price here is $320,000 compared to a big city like Nashville, which is only 2 hours away, which is $450,000. And of course, let's talk to a lender first. There's different ways to break down a loan, but for the time purpose, an example is if you put 5% down, your monthly mortgage payment would be $2,250. So when you take that into account of your other expenses, it's much lower than other places. And a couple affordable neighborhoods within Chattanooga is Lookout Valley, which we've done a video on, so check that out next. And also East Ridge, which we're doing another video on, so just stay tuned to see that. And those aren't the only two neighborhoods that are affordable. There's so many to choose from, so just give us a call and we're happy to break down the rest of those.
So let's look at some numbers. I've got some numbers right here just to make sure that they're all accurate. So if you look at utilities, the average monthly utilities in Chattanooga is $150 to $180 a month. Compare that to the national average of around $200 per month. Then you have groceries. Cost of groceries is 4% lower than the US average. Compare that to the national average of about $900 per month, right? And then gas and transportation. So gas prices in Chattanooga, they are typically 5% lower than the national average, which the national average is around $150 to $200 per month. And so I know I spit a lot of numbers out there, but the guy behind the camera is probably gonna have them waving all around me just for you guys to take notes. But take note on that because that does, over time, on a daily routine, that makes a huge difference that kind of goes under the radar.
For example, we live in a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and our monthly water bill might be around $50. Our gas, maybe $20. And for us, that's a huge saving comparing when we came from Nashville, and it was the same 2.5. That's a lot of savings every month.
But don't celebrate yet. There's still one major part that we have to cover. So let's talk about salaries here in Chattanooga. So the average salary in Chattanooga is just slightly less than the national average, but what's most important is to take into account the cost of living. A salary in Chattanooga is going to get you a lot further than most salaries in larger cities that have a higher cost of living. In Chattanooga, for example, if at the average of $54,000 a year, you still have the opportunity to buy a house if you take the right steps. In a larger city, if you're making that same amount, it'll get you an apartment that's shared with other tenants. I'm speaking generically, but that does ring true in some of the bigger cities. So whenever you look at the salary, you always take into account the other costs of living, similar to what we've already covered. So the average salary in Chattanooga is $54,000 a year, but one important factor is to realize that the major industries here, they have a higher average. The reasons why a lot of individuals come here for work. For example, the tech industry, the salaries are averaging here around $70,000 plus, right? So that's much more than the 54 average in Chattanooga. So there's one thing to take into account.
A lot of people move to Chattanooga for job opportunities, whether it's tech, healthcare, or manufacturing, because there's big companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Volkswagen, yep, and Unum. So whenever we're talking about salaries, there's other companies that have a higher salary. So for example, like Patrick touched on, tech is about $70,000 plus in Chattanooga. So can you live comfortably in Chattanooga with these salary ranges?
I would say absolutely, especially with the dual income opportunities that are out there, with the infrastructure of the working remote. A lot of families, a lot of couples are either commuting and one is working remote or both, either way. In Chattanooga, the one unique thing about Chattanooga that offers the working remote is the gigabyte, the gig city. The very fast internet, the gig network, it allows a lot of opportunities and flexibility for families to work remote. And there's a lot of opportunities here in Chattanooga for that very reason. So it's one thing to talk about a lot of statistics and all of that, but in real life experiences, that makes it very tangible and very different. And between Jess and I and the individuals that we've worked with and helped that have come here to Chattanooga from different states like California, Illinois, I'm leaving some out,
Colorado.
Right. A lot of different states all over the map. They all share very different walks of life, but one very similar common interest is their cost of living coming from where they are to Chattanooga, and they've always been able to, as we said, buy more house than they would have where they came from, buy more land if that's what they were interested in than where they came from, and utilize the resources Chattanooga has to offer in much more capacity with their given income, et cetera, than where they came from. That's not everyone, but those are the individuals that we've been able to help.
Or if it's not even get more, it's more like save more.
True.
So they
That's a
can
good point.
do more things that they enjoy, whether it's saving more and then going on more trips for the family because they have been able to
Very
save
good
more.
point.
So.
Look at you. Yeah.
So overall, what we're noticing that when people move to Chattanooga, they are decreasing their cost of living, but increasing the quality of life.
So whether you're looking for new job opportunities or affordable housing, Chattanooga might just be that perfect fit for your next chapter.
So if you have questions or want more information about moving to Chattanooga, write a comment below and we'll reach out.
Chattanooga real estate couple. We sell houses,